Hey, how's it going? My name's Nate, and I've been working here on my Indian Chief, and it's torn apart, and I figured now would be a good time to show you the easiest mod you can do to your bike. It'll only cost you $10 or $15. It'll take about half an hour of your time, uh, if that, and it'll help your bike run better, cleaner for longer. And yeah, so what I'm talking about is disconnecting the hose from the pressure relief valve or the crankcase breather, whatever, instead of having it run to the back of the air filter where it'll just coat everything with oil and cause you to run a little dirty. You're just going to vent it out the bike. So when I did my first air filter change to put this aftermarket filter on, the stock one was just coated in oil, and everything was coated in oil, and it was gross, and I didn't like that. So initially I just stuck a pod filter on the end of the tubing, capped it. I've got a little silicone cap, and called it good. But after a while I was noticing that the rear cylinder, the side panel, the transmission casing, all of that was getting coated in oil, and I wasn't a big fan of that. So I figured I would reroute it, so that way it wasn't coating all of this with oil over time. So the first person I saw do this was Bobby Morales. Bobby, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your last name, but he's in a couple Indian groups that I'm in. And he had routed some tubing. I think it just went straight down, and then he routed it along the engine here and then back down here and whatever. But I didn't quite like that. It wasn't as hidden as I wanted. So initially I got some 5/8 tubing from the hardware store because that was all I could get. Routed it up here, and it came down between the swing arm and the frame. But I didn't like that because it was rubbing. But the tubing was too thick for me to be able to run it where I wanted. So I ordered this silicone tubing. It's 15 mil from Amazon. And you can see I routed it from the nipple underneath the frame rail, going into the compartment here. There's a little notch that you can run it through, and then it's going down, trying to see, it's going down just along the side panel, and then it's going to terminate directly behind the ABS module. So having a filter on the end will keep it from dripping oil. It's never going to produce enough oil to make your tires slick, so you don't need to worry about that. It just kind of needs to be out of the way. You don't even need to put a filter on it, but just don't be worried if all of a sudden you have some drops of oil underneath your bike when you move it. It's gonna leave some oil residue. But if you have the filter on it, it helps it dissipate a little bit. It shouldn't leave oil drops on the ground, and also it's never going to produce enough to make your tires slick. It's not going to give you more than, you run over oil on the road every day without even realizing it, and it's going to kind of just be the same thing underneath your tires, so you don't really have to worry about it. But again, super easy. It'll help your bike run cleaner. It's for emissions, so if you're worried about emissions, then just keep running the oil into your intake and don't worry about it. But yeah, just some 15 mil tubing for Thunderstroke engines. You can look, like the tubing that I took off said what size it was, so I just ordered that in the silicone. But this works for any engine. And the bigger issue I know is like direct injection cars. You get gunk buildup on the valves, and it causes the bike to run like shit, or the car to run like shit. So I don't know if I'm not sure where the fuel injectors are in this. It looks like they're going to be above the valves, so it's not really an issue because the fuel is going to clean the valves. But the less stuff they have to clean, the better. So tubing, just run it down there, and you're good to go. You never have to worry about having an oil bath on your air intake again. So have fun, ride safe.